Hello and welcome back to Empyrion Galactic Survival. My name is Spanj. 1.7, ladies and gentlemen, is finally here. Now, as always with these updates, the patch notes are extensive, so I will link to those down below in the video description so that you can go take a look at them yourself if you want to. What I'm going to be doing today is going through what I think are the highlights of 1.7. One of the first big things of this update is that they have completely changed how water behaves in the game. Now, water before, if you remember, was simply a static layer, but here we can see it rolls and it washes on shore. And it's very nice. Look at that. How lovely. It ripples. It looks like water now, rather than just a kind of layer of weirdness. It's certainly not perfect by any means. There are weirdness going on still at the moment, but it is the first iteration of new water. I'm sure plenty of updates will come. What's really nice about the water is if you take a hover vessel or something over the water. Old Sparky here is a bit top heavy. It manipulates the water directly, as you can see, leaving a nice little ripple effect in there as you drive around, which I think is really, really nice. Look at that. That is cool. Which kind of opens the door up for sort of aquatic craft, really, I suppose, you know, because you can actually lower, as we saw a minute ago, you can actually lower the hover vessel right into the surface of the water there, and then and just drive it along. So, if you want to play boats in an aquatic craft, you can. You can. The hover vessels actually, I mean, they don't sort of chop along the water like a boat would, but so yeah, the ripples and things that they leave in the water, they're pretty good. Quite nice. I like that. Can you do the same with an SV, I wonder? The old buzzard gunship. Now, let's see. What does it do to water? Oh, it does. Look at that. Yes. Look at that. That's awesome. Oh, that's cool. SVs do it as well. I bet CVs do it as well then. Any kind of down thrust would probably mess with the water. Oh, Jesus. The old forward thrust on this is a bit pokey. That is pretty sweet. It looks really nice. I love the way that it distorts. Yeah, the way that it distorts the light and everything. It is really, really well done. Very nice, Eleon. Very nice indeed. So, new water effects then. Pretty cool. Nice, fun to play with. Well, final little check here. Well, I will be damned. How far does this layer extend? Is it still a layer? Or does finally water flow? Or can we get underneath it? Oh, yeah, no. It's still a layer. Oh, no. So, I suppose anybody looking for sort of underground bases or underwater bases and stuff like that, you're still going to have water going through into your base, which is a shame. But water does seem to flow. I suppose flow is a strong word, perhaps, because right now I'm not swimming. That is just literally a layer of the water graphic. So once you're underneath it, you know, where it wasn't spawned in, I suppose. So if I go back out to sea here. Now I'm swimming, as you can see. Big difference. Yeah, so if you manipulate the terrain to try and extend the water layer, it is just visual. There's no actual water here. Still, visual effect is nice for those looking for an aesthetic. Maybe you can dig a trench, a moat around your base from a river, from a lake or something like that, and the water will seem to go up to a point. As you can see, it just sort of stops there. Some kind of like Moses barrier here. But it's still not water, it's just visual. There's only so much you can do with it. But if you stay close enough to a body of water like a lake or a sea, then you might be able to get a moat all the way around. But it will just stop at one point. There we go. Look at that. Bloop. Bloop. Hopefully one day they will add actual flowing mechanics that will allow it to fill removed terrain. That would be very nice, but what they've done so far is still very nice. I do like the ripple effects. Very, very, very cool. One of the next updates is that they've added, well, they've actually got a test system in place at the moment for new terrain and foliage. Deco System. They call it a Deco System, but it's in test. So there's actually only a few planets that seem to have this in place at the moment. I'm on one of them now, and if you want to have a look for yourself at the new Deco Systems, then you need to find... I can't even remember the name of it right now. You need to find a system of type Cont AR1A95. You go into that, and there should be a couple of planets, at least a temperate one like this one, that has the new Deco placement system. Now, I'm sort of flying around here, and it's very nice, it's very pretty. I'm seeing new trees, new foliage. These mountains, for example, look fantastic. Look at this. This is a good-looking mountain, I gotta say. Look, it's got a snowy peak. These are sort of things you don't actually necessarily see very often in Empyrion, when you think about it. Snowy peak with snow-covered trees on top. Little things, right? Little things make a big difference to the immersion of the game. So that's really cool. Let's take a little closer look down on the ground here, because there's a lot of new plants I'm seeing here. A lot of new assets. Look at these. Look at that. Okay, let's get out on foot and have a little look around. So yeah, I mean, I don't recognize any of these trees. They all look different to me. And look at the grass as well. I am in the thick of it. I am just expecting some raptors to come and hunt me down right now. That is some tall grass. So, and it's, I don't know if you can see, I've got the frame rates running in the top right. I generally run Empyrion on pretty high settings. I will just confirm that for a second to make sure I'm not lying. It's on 1080. Everything apart from SSCO is on sort of medium and stuff. So if I set my quality preset to best, apply that. Let's have a look at what the frame rate is. We've got 62. So we're running through the jungle right now. And admittedly, there's not much in the way of sort of structures or anything like that. But, you know, the amount of grass and stuff like that. We're getting a pretty smooth 60 frames per second right now. That's really, really nice. So, you know, they've got this new Deco system in here. Teeming with grass. Although I'm not seeing any creatures yet. I don't know if there are any on the test planets at all. I'll have a little look around. If I find any, I'll let you know. But I don't see any at the moment. But, you know, the point is, new Deco system, new beautiful plant life and stuff. It's not affecting my performance at all. I'm running on the higher settings here. And I'm getting a smooth 60. So that's very nice. And it looks fantastic as well, I think. I'm lost in the grass, guys. Ah! Next up, some of the plants that we know we pick up quite regularly have got new models. Not quite sure what's going on with the corn dogs. They've gone all pink all of a sudden. But there are some other plants around as well that you'll notice that have changed. Here's a fruit tree. Gives us some fruit, funnily enough. Looks very nice. Some of them look like fruit trees. Don't have fruit on them. Just to troll you. Plant fibers. Look at that. This is going to take some getting used to. I think I've trained my brain to look for particular plants. And now they're all different. You're going to have to readjust. Look at that thing. That's the spice plant. Damn. That looks angry. It kind of looks like it's going to eat you. There we go. I think that's new as well. Although it looks similar to an old one. But it is also new. Fantastic. Getting used to all these new plants is going to be tricky. Which ones are now harvestable? Which ones are not? I don't know. They all look different. The next update is kind of difficult to showcase, but they've added some, or they've changed the AI pathing and stuff like that. Found some little bugs here to see if I can show them. Basically, the old AI would zigzag all over the place to try and get to you, but now the new pathing should mean that they kind of come straight at you and stuff. The ideal candidate to test this and showcase this particular update would be the raptors. So let me see if I can find... I don't even know if they're on this bloody planet, to be honest. Let me see if I can find them. Well, not a raptor, but an arachnid. Now, I don't know if you remember, the arachnid would take a real long time to turn. Now, it seems to be kind of doing a similar thing, but you notice how it's kind of... It's not zigzagging quite as much anymore. If I stand over here, it should take a reasonably smooth path to me rather than going ziggy-zaggy. And as you can see... Yeah, oh... Didn't know we had that little tail jab animation. Ow. Look, I'm just trying to show you up, alright? And your new little smart brainy brain. I mean, they're still stupid, but, you know, what do you want? He seems to turn around a hell of a lot quicker than he used to, that's for sure. They seem to have a little delay, though, don't they? There seems to be a little delay in them kind of recalculating. Every single time I've sort of moved position, it's like, oh, hang on, where is he now? Just got to figure out where to get to him. He's still doing some ziggy-zaggy, but it is a lot less ziggy-zaggy, if you know what I mean. Ow! God. So moody. Alright, that was kind of quick, actually, in fairness. Yeah, really difficult to kind of showcase that particular update, but I think it's going to be an important update that's going to be... When you play your next survival game, you're going to notice it, because I think things like the raptors, so arachnids in this case, I can't find any raptors on this planet. I don't even know where they would be. The arachnids, the spiders, the raptors, basically all those creatures are going to have a much easier time, I think, getting to you. And the whole kind of just sort of sidestepping them sort of things is not going to be quite as easy. Now, this kind of segues me quite nicely onto the next update, which is the status update. So we're purposely getting myself kind of hit at the moment. As you can see, the poisonous bite icon in the bottom left there is now a different color. It's now flashing away as well to indicate bad things are going to happen and stuff like that. So it's a nice little kind of improvement on the status updates, kind of like highlighting the seriousness of your conditions. There you go. I'm kind of stunned that had a different color. Poisonous bite is now advanced. Now I've got a wound. I've got a wound. Everything's just like emergency, emergency. There's an emergency going on. It's still going on. And then of course you can still get more information over here about what is going on. That's a nice little update. One of the other things that's quite good is a very nice little... Where are you going? You nearly had me dead to rights and then you decide to turn around. What is wrong with you? Yeah, so the new AI, everybody. When you die like that, or in, you know, actual real circumstances, if you've set the difficulty settings and stuff like that to drop everything on death, like I have here. Now, what should happen with this new change, which is lovely, I'll pick all this back up, and it restores my toolbar. Look at that! It's all put back by default. No more fanning around with your inventory after death for 5 minutes. How good's that? That has been a long time coming, my friends. That one has, I tell you. That has really been a long time coming. So it's really, really nice to see such a nice, simple little change is going to have a huge difference, I think, to your games. Thank you very much, Eleon. That's a good one. Another little but nice update is the new drone controller. It is much sharper. It doesn't like float anymore, which I know is a bit of a pain when you're building, and it actually flies like a drone. It flies like a drone. So as you can see, I don't know if you can tell in these movements, but there's no like post sway. After you stop moving the mouse, it's instant stop, and that's really, really nice and helpful. I know that when you're building with the old controller, it would just kind of float and stuff, and that would be kind of... It would result in blocks being misplaced and stuff. You can also now use the O key on the drone, so if you do random stuff and then press O, it will auto-write itself, which is lovely. But unfortunately, it still very much has a Garbo range, which is a shame. Hopefully we'll get a longer range drone, or maybe mods for it at some point. But for now, a slight improvement to its controller is very nice. As is usual with these sorts of updates, Eleon have added a bunch of new POIs, thanks in part to the community. Loads of different builders have all contributed to a number of new POIs in 1.7, so thank you very much to all of the builders, and of course Eleon for that. Eleon have also added an extra mission during this time for the festive period called Murky Christmas. I'm not going to take the mission now so I don't spoil it for you guys, but it looks like it could be a little bit of fun. To start the mission, all you need to do is go into the solar orbit of the Eleon system, the system that you start the game in, and the rest is handled by the PDA automatically. They've also done a number of tweaks to other missions as well. There's also been a huge number of tweaks and additions and configuration options added to help scenario builders, such as Revian and Vermilion. We're all familiar with Project Eden and Reforged Eden, of course. Looks like they're going to have some nice new surprises for us in their updated scenarios when they can get them out soon. Other than that, the other updates are some general sort of improvements of the visuals and lighting. Some of the sunsets and sky and things like that just looks so much nicer now. Space is beautiful. Planets are beautiful too. There's some really good shots that you can get in the game now. It's really starting to look very good. And that's really about it. 1.7, like I said, I can put the patch notes down below so you can peruse through them yourself if you want to. But for me, that's the general highlights of 1.7 update. What's that? Hang on a second, sorry. There's one more. I missed something. What do you mean press C? Why would I press C? C does nothing. No way! Well, it's about bloody time.